fisheries manager and somebody who you talk to about where they're biting. He knows they're always biting at McGraw, just maybe not where you're fishing. And Gordy has been a friend to all of us, and me included, so he's very patient. But Gordy is a scientist at heart as well, and that's the essence of McGraw's mission. And he had this idea for the aquaponics, which he'll explain in detail. And he came to us with his dream, and he conceived of it. The board of directors supported it. And then you, our members, made it happen. We asked you for the support, and you supported us in a way that this story is happening today, not 50 yards from where we're sitting. And it's one of the most exciting things about McGraw, because I think it's contributed to our mission, at the heart of our mission, securing the future of hunting and fishing and land management through programs of science, demonstration, communication, and education. I think that's right. But that's pretty much it, and this project embraces it all. And it couldn't have happened without our wonderful team members, and it couldn't have happened without you, our wonderful members. So that's McGraw in a nutshell. That's why we're different. That's why we love it here. And all of you are why. And so I thank you for all of that from the bottom of my heart. And now, over to Gordy.
Well, thank you, Gary. Those are really nice words, and I appreciate that. I don't know, hopefully you weren't lying, but I really do appreciate that. I want to thank everybody for being here, first of all. And so I could talk about our aquaponics program. It's something I'm really passionate about. As Gary said, it's something that I've been thinking about for some time, and the board of directors gave it the approval to do this and move ahead. And this is a really fun project. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. And I want to make this really informal. And if you guys have any questions as I'm speaking, raise your hand. I'll do my best to handle the hecklers and stuff like that. And I'll do my best to answer the question. And again, this is information for you guys. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to talk about aquaponics. Obviously, I want to define it, talk about some of the benefits of aquaponics, how we got here, why are we doing aquaponics at McGraw, and some of the project that I'm working on, and in the future. So again, any questions, please fire away. Okay. First of all, what is aquaponics? Aquaponics is the combination of aquaculture and hydroponics. Most people have heard of hydroponics, not as many people have heard of aquaponics. And hydroponics is basically growing plants in a soilless medium. So you're growing plants in water. You don't have any soil, no dirt or anything like that. In hydroponics, you need to add nutrients to the water in order for the fish to grow. They need their nutrients to grow. The fish provide the nutrients in aquaponics, so you don't have to add anything to the water, and that's actually a benefit. So the fish provide the nutrients through the ammonia being excreted through their gills and their other waste, and also the feed that we drop onto the fish, or feed the fish, and excess feed, that also provides some of the nutrients. Okay? There are three basic components to aquaponics. Two of them are pretty obvious, the fish and plants. The other one is, I don't like to say bacteria, but that's what it is, because a lot of people are nervous about bacteria. They don't like to hear bacteria or something like that. They think they're going to get sick. But it's a very beneficial bacteria. Without that, the system will not run. It will, because what happens is the fish excrete ammonia from their gills. These systems are a closed system, so meaning that the water's constantly being recirculated. And since it's a closed system, there's no place for that ammonia to go, so that the rates would just keep on going up and up and up, and then they'll have ammonia toxicity, and the fish will end up dying. So it's a biofilter, and how it works is they have to go through a nitrification process. There's two bacteria that are involved with this. So the ammonia has to be converted to another form of nitrogen. A nitrosomonas bacteria converts the ammonia to nitrite. Unfortunately, nitrite is also toxic to fish. So, and nitrite is not a form that's readily available, or the plants don't use nitrite, that form of nitrogen. There's another bacteria called nitrobacter. The nitrobacter convert the nitrite into nitrate, and that's what the fish can handle. They can handle high levels of nitrate, and then that's what the fish, or the plants use too, that form of nitrogen. Some of the benefits of aquaponics: water conservation is huge. It uses 90% less water than conventional farming. So that head of lettuce that you're growing out in California or something like that takes 20 gallons of water. In aquaponics, it only take 2. So water conservation is big. Another one is land conservation. You can put marginal farmland into production. You don't have to do any conventional farming with that. You can set that aside and actually do aquaponics. If you set that land aside, it's like the CRP land. You are providing habitat for wildlife, prevention of soil erosion, because that's a huge thing. And you know, the farmers, what they like to do is they like just to go from tree line to tree line, plow up as much land as they can, and that's how they're making their money. And it'd be nice to set aside that land for wildlife and also protect the erosion. And it's also very productive. It's 4 to 6 times more productive per square foot basis compared to conventional farming. And you can also do this year round. If you have a greenhouse and you're able to keep it warm, you can do this year round. You get multiple and multiple crops. Yep.
So what's the timeline from start to harvest to get a head of lettuce?
We plant the seeds. They're in well, I'll call it the seed tray for 1 week, and then 6 weeks after that. So from the planting the seed to harvest is 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Yeah.
How does that compare to a regular head of lettuce? Is it much faster?
It is a little bit faster. I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but it is faster. And then again, right away, it's a constant flow of lettuce. It's constant flow. And I'll show a picture of our system and how that works. You'll see the different, the first week, second week, third week, and you can see the plants getting larger and larger in the picture. Some other benefits: no fertilizers or pesticides. You can't use any chemicals, because if you use something to take care of the pests on the plant, that is probably going to be toxic to the fish, and vice versa. If the fish gets sick, you're in a world of hurt, because you can't really treat the fish. A lot of times we'll treat fish with salt, sodium chloride. Well, that's toxic to the plants. Plants can't handle that. So that's really important. You can't add anything. So it's as organic as it can get, as fresh as you can get. Now, with that being said, the plants are considered organic. The fish are not, because the fish feed right now is not totally organic. So you can't classify it completely organic. I don't want to get off on a tangent there. And this is a big one too. 62 million tons of fish came from aquaculture. This is data from a couple of years ago. Our natural stocks can't handle the food consumption. We got a rising population, and the demand on seafood is going up and up and up. I saw some statistics. I saw this one graph. Actually, I was thinking about putting in this presentation. I kind of wish I would have. Since 1985, so the last 25, 30 years or so, the catch of wild-caught fish has pretty much stayed the same. There's been the graph is basically like this: no big jumps or no big climbs or declines. However, what's the word I'm looking for? Technology. The technology has increased quite a bit. You've got much better gear, much better netting equipment. You got much better GPS and things like that. So they're able to find those fish. But you think that with all that technology and stuff like that, they would be catching more, but actually, it's been staying the same. So, this is really important because the aquaculture and aquaponics is really important with this aspect because we're gonna have to raise more fish to handle the demand for people eating fish, wanting to consume fish. And also, another nice benefit, good benefit is you can use this, you can do aquaponics almost anywhere. Where water's scarce, where the water's not in really good quality. Third world countries, they have a hard time with water and food and things like this. This is perfect because they can set up a system and they can feed the community. And it doesn't use that much water, so that's a major benefit. They're growing a protein source and also a vegetable source, so it'll feed the underprivileged. Yep.
I saw an article, probably 3 or 4 years ago, where they were talking about farming vertically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like hydroponics would fall
Yep.
into that, where
Yep.
you build up instead
Yep.
of out
Yep.
and conserve land that way.
Yep.
And that was a very positive part of this.
That is
you know,
happening.
when we were talking about land conservation.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, actually, we're gonna do something similar to that in our greenhouse. We're gonna set up another system, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, the vertical farming, basically what it is you have your fish tank basically on the ground, and then you have a tier of grow beds. So you might have 3 or 4 grow beds. So rather than spreading out, you're actually going up. And, yeah, so it saves a lot of room, a lot of space. Yeah.
What are the economics of this kind of system? You know, you're raising fish, there's some kind of cost, but there's a revenue aspect to that, same with the lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
What is the economics, the business considerations of this?
The initial setup cost is quite substantial because you gotta put up a building and buy all your equipment and things like that. After that cost, if you can get markets, you can find a market to sell your lettuce and stuff like that. I'm not too sure exactly what the cost per head of lettuce would be, but a lot of times what small, not big commercial size, but I'm talking smaller sizes, they'll market to like local hospitals, it'd be locally fed. So local hospitals, local schools, things like that. That's where they'll sell their lettuce to. You make your money on the greens. You don't make as much money on the fish. So the exact dollar amounts and things like that, that's something I've got to figure out too.
Is that because the fish are slower growing?
Yes. And you don't get as much for the fish. At least the tilapia. Most of the time it's tilapia. But there's some places that are doing greens, they're just micro greens. And they're able to produce, oh man, unbelievable amount of microgreens, because it only takes like 8 or 9 days they can harvest it. And, bean sprouts and stuff like that. And if you can market it, there's a potential there to expand big time. Yeah.
Gordy, what percent of our lettuce here are you providing?
100% comes to the pond cottage.
But that's not 100% of the lettuce they serve.
I believe when we first started up, they were buying lettuce just to make sure they had enough. And then they do purchase some lettuce, and I think it's mostly for the hamburgers. Because we were making a loose leaf lettuce, and we were growing that, and then Jerry said, hey, you know what, can you grow something else? Because we purchased this to put on the burger. That's our burger lettuce. And I think they supplement sometimes, if it's not growing well, we have a bad couple of weeks or something like that, water temperature drops or something, and we're not getting the biomass. We produce 90 heads a week. That's how much we're producing right now. But everything's used up here in Pine Cottage, they just supplement a little bit, not much.
Your salad tonight came from aquaponics.
Yeah, yeah.
So greens are the only plants that can be grown then, or are there any other?
No, there are some other plants, you can grow almost anything. The system that we have now, and I'll get into that a little bit more, but the system that we have now, it's, the lettuce is the most productive. But there's other systems where you can grow tomatoes, cucumbers, radishes, melons, I saw a banana tree. So that you can grow about anything, really. And Scott wants me to grow celery. So we're gonna look into doing that. We're gonna put up another, and again, I'll be talking about that shortly. You have any questions? Yep.
Can you cut the greens off the top and leave the roots in there and it grow again?
No. No. Normally when we harvest, the plants that you have on your table, it's a rock wool plug. Okay, you see that? That basically what it is recycled glass. And all that is it's a media to support the root or the seed, and it keeps it wet to make it germinate. The roots grow through those. That's not how many roots are there. The roots are this long. And I'll show a picture too. We can see them right here. These are the roots. Here's the rock wool and the plant. You guys see that? Right here. These are the roots. So what we have to do is cut the roots off, and then normally when we bring it up here, we cut the block off. We have to take a lot of data too from the plants. We have to take a lot of measurements for our research. So it's not simply just yanking it out of the raft. We measure the height, the width, the number of leaves, the weight of the plant, the length of the roots, the weight of the roots.
So getting back to the young man's question from the back room there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, we do this for research and some of the benefits we get, but, so, once you make the initial investment, whatever that might be, and all that cost is sunk, right? Would this be a viable and sustainable business model because that equipment, once you have it, basically will last quite some time, and you can just continue to reharvest?
Oh, absolutely.
If you were selling this as a
Yeah.
business?
Very much so. You have to know your market though. I just went to a workshop in Wisconsin on this, and it was really interesting because they were talking about a guy from down south wanted to come up to Wisconsin. He was going to put up a farm, aquaponics farm. He's going to go grow tilapia. They don't eat tilapia up there. They eat walleye and perch.
And had it, yeah.
You know, so they're not eating that. And he had another. It was really interesting because in the States, fish actually is more of a luxury type of fish compared to European countries or Asian countries. Our protein source is beef, chicken, pork, a little bit of fish. So we're eating salmon, trout, walleye, the more expensive stuff. In Europe, their main protein source in Asia is fish. So you got to know your market. You know, like I said, you can be very successful in your up north of here, or this area in Wisconsin, Michigan, and stuff like that. Walleye, sawguy, things like that. Perch. Out west, you want trout. Out east, more shellfish. Down south, catfish type of thing. So you got to know your market. But yes, you can be very successful with this. Yep.
Do you make your own plugs?
Do I make my
Do you
own?
make your own plugs?
No, I purchased those. Yeah.
Can you recycle them then, or do you use?
The only, yeah, that's the thing is you can't recycle it because it's glass. That's the only thing. The reason why I use those is they will not bring any type of diseases or anything like that. There are some other plugs that are like pressed soil type of thing, and I don't want to have any microbes or anything like that coming in our system and doing some damage to our system. Yep.
What makes one species of fish more conducive for this kind of system than others? Okay.
I'll get into that, I'll get into that, and how we got there, how we got here. Water temperature? Yeah, that's one. All right, I'll continue now. So, with the,
No more questions.
well, here we go, how we got started. We have a recirculating system in our hatchery. In our recirculating system, we're able to keep the water temperature warm throughout the year. The reason why we put a recirculating system in our hatchery is because several years ago, Jeff Tallis brought in about a 5-pound walleye. And we cut it open, filleted it. It had 4 of our walleye that we just stocked like the day before in its gut. So Tom Harder at the time and I were thinking, we gotta raise a bigger fish because all the work that we're doing, we're basically supplying forage. So we set up a recirculating system. In this recirculating system, we're able to keep the water temperature warm throughout the whole year, and then we're able to raise a bigger fish. Okay, so our recirculating system, basically what it is 12 tanks that are all tied together. So all of them have the same drain, and they all get filtered, and everything gets pumped back to the tanks. About 4 or 5 years ago, we used 8 of the 12 tanks, and we decided, hey, let's play around with some aquaponics. So what we did was we floated a raft, basically a piece of styrofoam, and we just put some of these rockwool plugs in there, and our very first year, we ended up producing almost 300 heads of lettuce, and over 300 walleye that were close to 12 inches. I think, okay, we got to work in a little bit. And then year 2, we grew 406 heads of lettuce, and we were using perch that year, 500 perch. Year 3, we did a polyculture. Typically, you don't do that in aquaculture, but it worked out fine for us. We produced smallmouth and walleye, and almost produced 500 heads of lettuce. And then the last year that we did this, before we had the greenhouse, we produced 270 heads of lettuce. I'll explain that in a second. And we used smallmouth and yellow perch. The first 3 years, we had 4 floating rafts. The 4th year, we only had 2 floating rafts. So if we would have had the 4 floating rafts, we would have had 550 heads of lettuce or so. Anyways, using game fish, most people use tilapia. Tilapia is the go-to fish for aquaponics because it's an extremely hardy fish. It can handle pretty poor water quality. It can handle crowding, and they grow really fast. So that is one of the reasons why you can, from stocking to harvest, it's around 26 weeks, 30 weeks or so. So they're really fast growing. That's why they go with tilapia. Very little work has been done with game fish. Okay, and we got it working with game fish. We're raising walleye, perch, and smallmouth. So
So it's a dual benefit to the lake as well.
yes. So then I got that brilliant idea. Hey, we got some research opportunities here because again, nobody's doing game fish. Yes.
Can we take 1 second? We brought in Chef Jerry, who cooked our meal
Yeah.
tonight. One of the members had a question. How much of our lettuce that we're using here today comes from aquaponics?
Right, well, Gordy, go ahead.
Yep. So-
Gordy is almost there to supply almost all our needs right now. He's really producing well. In fact, we're gonna be changing our menu on the 1st of March, and we're going to feature a salad on the menu that's gonna just always be aquaponics, so hopefully we'll keep that supply going.
And you're pleased with the quality?
It's great. It's really, really wonderful stuff. Can't be any fresher. It's perfectly tender. I mean,
I'll pay you
it's
later.
great.
Thank you, Jerry.
So again, very little work has been done with game fish. And we got to work it. We raised a 12-inch walleye. 12-inch walleye, that's pretty good. And our systems are not made for, our recirculating system in the hatchery is made to raise fish and not plants. So we decided, hey, I got some great research opportunities here. like I said, current research involving game fish, in aquaponic systems is very limited. I know we can do it, because we're gonna have increased growth rates, because we're able to keep the water temperature even warmer for a longer period of time, and then that means better survival. Because the fish that I'm raising, I'm not raising for fish, I'm raising for stocking purposes. And by perfecting techniques and yes,
How do those fish that have been raised in the greenhouse, how do they fare? Like, have you guys tagged them and checked their growth rates after you stocked them after 2, 3, 4 years? Are they growing
yeah.
at a normal rate?
Our lakes, the walleyes tend to grow a little slower, okay? To be totally honest with you, they grow a little slower out here. I think the main question is whether or not they'll go on feed right away, because we're feeding them artificial diet all the time. And they're a carnivore, and if they see another fish, they know what they're supposed to do. They're on it right now. But we have in the past, dropped minnows, fathead minnows into the tank, just to plump them up a little bit before we stock them out. But also we wanted to see, hey, you know, that we were wondering, we're dropping feed on top of them, artificial food. Do they know that they're supposed to eat fish? And then you drop 2 fish in there, they're freaking going nuts.
So I'm just looking for tips, Gordy. Are you saying I could put a piece of lettuce on my hook?
No, we're not talking about.
All right, just checking.
The lettuce is up here, the fish are down here. Fish pellets. Yeah, fish pellets. Yeah, we'll talk later, I'll get you some fish food, okay?
No, I thought the lettuce might work.
So, by doing this, we're perfecting the techniques, raising fish in aquaponics, and Carrie was saying that's part of our mission, is securing the future of hunting and fishing, and that's what we're trying to do here, particularly at McGraw. And this is what I'm really hyped up about too, is educational opportunities are limitless. I plan on working with Colleen and Tracy, the education department, and I want to work with them to come up with programs that deal with the aquaponics and curriculums for different age classes of different age classes of kids. You know, I just don't want it all to be high school. I like to have middle class or middle-aged kids and like 5th and 6th graders and stuff like that. And I want to have kids coming in for field trips, showing them our system and stuff like that, and show them and the teachers all the things that you can teach with aquaponics. You got water chemistry, you've got biology, plant and fish biology, water conservation, what's that? Chemistry, marketing.
Economics?
Yeah, economics, absolutely. You're growing a plant and then you extrapolate that out.
So we don't have field trips now, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but I'm planning on, the next thing is I'm designing a system. And what I want to do is put a small system together. Most of the classes, a lot of times, are too crowded. They don't have any room. So I want to put a small system together that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Because a lot of the times the teachers are flipping the bill for a lot of their supplies. So if I can get a system with the pumps and the tanks and have a piecemeal of instruction type of thing, what you need to purchase, something that's only less than $100. And it's got a small footprint, they can go right in their classroom, and then they can teach all the kids about all the different subjects. So I'm really excited about that. I'm pumped about that. Anyways, and then also the possibilities of getting internships here, aquaponic internships, work with some universities and things like that. Then really quick, I just want to go over an overview of the aquaponic system and explain exactly what it is. We have a 1,440 square foot greenhouse, 60 feet by 24 feet. We have 6 individual aquaponic units. Now these were purchased, and the reason why we have 6 is so we can do research. We need to do replicates. Okay? First of all, you got to start with a fish tank. It's about a 90-gallon tank. I gotta explain just how everything works here, and I'm sorry, I'll pop over to both places. But right here, there's a standpipe that goes down, right down the length of the tank, and it has a series of holes in it, and basically it forms a circle. Also, and what happens is the flow brings everything, all the solids to the center pipe, and that's our standpipe. This is really important because then the solids are removed from the tank. You don't want a lot of solids in the system, because if there's a lot of solids in the system, you end up getting anaerobic bacteria going, and then that actually uses up oxygen, your biofilter and other things are gonna suffer. So this will draw the solids out of the tank. The green thing,
Solids or the fish?
the solids are the excess feed, and then the waste from the fish, yep. And then the green and black thing, that's our feeder. It's a belt feeder, and basically you pull it back, and it's a belt, and it's got a clock mechanism, and within 24 hours, you put the feed on top of that, and in a 24-hour period, it dispenses the feed over that length of time. After it goes to the fish tank, it goes to a clarifier. Now, basically what this is a settling tank. So our solids are coming in through here, the water and solids, you got a baffle here, the sediment, yeah. The solids settle to the bottom of the tank, and on the bottom of the tank, you can't see it, but they're cone shaped. So everything goes right to the bottom, we're able to flush those solids out. And
How
then this,
often do you have to do that?
about every 2 days.
What's the water temperature where the fish?
The water temperature is around 74 degrees. The walleye actually grow the best, like 73, 74 degrees. Normally you think it's a cool water species. You think it'd be a lot colder, but that's where they grow the best. And then it goes into the mineralization tank. Now this is the biofilter. This is one of the most important pieces here. Where the water's coming in, this is a white, the white material, that's actually a bag. And what's inside that bag is a bunch of bio beads. So it's a bunch of plastic balls that have a ton of surface area on them. And that's a place for the bacteria to grow on, and the nitrifying bacteria. That's the most important thing, because if that's not up and running, your fish are gonna die. And then it goes to a degassing tank, and basically what this is, it's a tank that we aerate, and we really boil it, we really get it going. And the carbon dioxide that the fish produce, rather than accumulating inside the tanks and inside the system, it gets expelled into the atmosphere, or into the air, and actually the plants use that up. If we don't have that, and the carbon dioxide the levels start increasing, it's kind of like us with carbon monoxide, we get really sleepy. That's the same thing will happen to the fish. They'll sleep or they'll get lethargic and could die. And then it goes to our grow beds. We have 2 grow beds per system, and I'm gonna pop around here. Somebody was asking about I think you asked how long it took from seed to, okay. Yeah, so this very first tray here, we have three pieces of styrofoam per grow bed, and we call that a raft. And all those little dots, you can't really see it really well, but those are all plants, and that's rock wool inside the holes. So there's little holes in the styrofoam, and that rock wool fits inside that styrofoam, and it wicks up the water. And the very far one on the left, in the front, that is week 1.
So is that the same rock stuff that's on the tables?
That's the rock wool that's
On the tables.
on the lettuce, yep. So this is week 1, and the next raft is week 2, so we go on a rotation basis. And all the way on the end here would be the 6th week. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then on the other picture, you can see the roots, they're just in the water, okay? And they're just absorbing whatever dissolved nutrients are in the water.
So are these 2 here different species or just different age? This
No,
one-
they're different species.
Okay.
They're both romaine lettuce. One's a red romaine, one's a green romaine.
All right.
So we're trying to grow different species and mix it up a little bit, primarily for the kitchen, so they can make it look a little pretty.
We like a little color in our
Yeah,
salad.
yeah. Okay, and then after it goes from the grow bed, it gets pumped back up to the fish tank, so it's a recirculating system, okay? Now I want to get into what we're working on now. Yeah.
What's the ambient temperature inside the greenhouse?
Where's Clark? It's around 68 to 70 degrees.
So are you heating the water in
Yes.
any way? Okay.
Yeah, we actually, we were looking to get inline heaters. They're like $700 a piece. And then we actually have, what are they called? They're like a dropper heater. Titanium heater. It's just like a stick heater or whatever you put in. And that's been working great. We have had the temperature down in the 50s in the greenhouse. And, but we've been maintaining around 68, 66 to 70 degrees. Now today when we were working in there, the sun was up, it was up to 80. So.
With that cold snap we had
Yep.
2 months ago,
Mhm.
you guys didn't have any problems?
No, everything was good. We tried insulating the greenhouse a little bit more to make it more efficient. We tried. Right, Clark? I haven't seen the heating bill yet. But, Clark did mention though, when he came over there when it was being constructed, he saw the walls. And he looks at me and he goes, "We gotta heat this building?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he mentioned he was gonna buy stock in natural gas. I talked to Maureen, I saw Maureen, the bill wasn't as high as he thought it would be.
But you do have fans in there.
We do have fans. Yeah, we have fans moving the air around, we have exhaust fans if it gets too warm. And we have 2 heaters, and we only have one that we use, because it keeps it plenty warm. So our current research, we're looking at 3 different stocking densities of walleye. We have a low stocking density, a mid, and a high stocking density. The high stocking density is equivalent to the stocking densities that you would normally have with tilapia. Okay, so, if the high density works well, then we're golden, because we're proving that a walleye can grow just as well as a tilapia type of thing. Takes a little bit longer, rather than 30 weeks or something, 26